Hello dear students, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Engineer Mir Masood Shah. I am lecturer in Department of Technology, Sarhad University of Science and Information Technology, Peshawar. As I am teaching you the subject design of hydraulic structure, today is your lecture number 12. The topic we will study in lecture number 12 is dam engineering or concrete dam engineering, and this we will cover the topics introduction, forces acting on gravity dam, and computation of forces which are weights, water pressure, uplift pressure, silt pressure, wave pressure, earthquake forces, etc. So coming to introduction, so what is gravity dam? A gravity dam is a solid structure which is made up of concrete or masonry and is constructed across a river to create a reservoir on its upstream side. The section of the gravity dam is approximately triangular in shape, with its apex at its top and maximum width at bottom. The section is so proportioned that it resists the various forces acting on it by its own weight. Gravity dams are usually consist of two sections, namely the non-overflow section and the overflow section or spillway section. Gravity dams are particularly suited across gorges with very steep side slopes, where earth dams might slip, and are usually cheaper than earth dams if suitable soils are not available for their construction. Some basic definitions related to dams are: number one, axis of the dam. So what is the axis of the dam? Axis of the dam is the line of the upstream edge of the top or crown of the dam. The axis of the dam in plane is called the baseline of the dam. The axis of the dam in plane is usually straight. So this is the axis of the dam, as you can see in the figure. This is the axis of the dam. Next is the length of the dam. So length of the dam is the distance from one abutment to other abutment measured along the axis of the dam at the level of the top of the dam. So the distance between the two abutments of the dam is called the length of the dam, and it is measured along the axis of the dam. Third one is the structural height of the dam. So structural height of the dam is the difference in elevations of the top of the dam and the lowest point in the excavated foundation. So the distance from the lowest point in the excavated foundation up to the top of the dam is known as the structural height of the dam. It, however, does not include the depth of special geological features of foundations such as narrow fault zones below the foundations, but in general the height of the dam is its structural height. This is the structural height of the dam. From the foundation to the top of the dam is known as the structural height of the dam. Next is toe and heel. The toe of the dam is the downstream edge of the base, while the heel is the upstream edge of the base. This is the heel, the upstream edge of the base, or the contact point of the dam with the upstream edge on the upstream side, while the contact on the downstream side or the contact point of the dam on the downstream side is known as the toe. Fifth one is the maximum base width of the dam. It is the maximum horizontal distance between the heel and the toe of the maximum section of the dam in the middle of the valley. So this is the maximum base width. The distance between the heel and toe of the dam is known as the maximum base width of the dam. Sixth one is the hydraulic height of the dam. So hydraulic height of the dam is equal to the difference elevation of the highest control water surface on the upstream side of the dam, that is FRL, and the lowest point in the river bed. So as you can see in the figure, the lowest point in the dam or river bed, the distance from the river bed up to the FRL is known as the hydraulic height of the dam. Next is forces acting on gravity dam. So these are the forces which acts on the dam or gravity dam. First one is the weight of the dam, second one is the water pressure, third uplift pressure, fourth wave pressure, fifth earth and silt pressure, sixth one is the earthquake forces, seventh is the ice pressure, eighth is the wind pressure, and nine is the thermal loads. So these are the different forces which acts on the gravity dams. We will study all these forces one by one in detail. So first of all, coming to the gravity dam, forces acting on gravity dam. These forces, all the forces which we study here are fall in two categories. Forces such as the weight of the dam and water pressure, which are directly calculable from the unit weights of the materials and properties of fluids, fluid pressure, and the forces such as uplift, earthquake loads, silt pressure and ice pressure, which can only be assumed on the basis of assumption of varying degree of reliability. It is the estimating of the second category of the forces that special care has to be taken, and in reliance placed on available data, experience and judgment. Also, it is convenient to compute all these forces per unit length of the dam. So first of all, we will study about weight of the dam, or the first force, which is weight of the dam. So main stabilizing forces in gravity dam, that is dead load, is equal to weight of the concrete or masonry or both, plus weight of such appurtenances as piers, gates and bridges. So dead load of concrete is basically the weight of concrete or masonry, or maybe both, plus the weight of the appurtenances, which are maybe piers, gates and bridges. Next is the weight of the dam per unit length is equal to the product of the area of cross section of the dam and the specific weight or unit weight of the material. So we have already studied that it is convenient to calculate the weight of the dam per unit length. So in this case, we will find the area of cross section of the dam and multiply it by the specific weight of the specific weight or the unit weight of the material, and we will get the weight of the dam per unit length. The unit weight of concrete is 24 kilonewton per cubic meter, and that of masonry is 23 kilonewton per cubic meter. Varies considerably depending upon the various materials that go to make them. But for convenience, the cross section of the dam is divided into simple geometrical shapes such as rectangles and triangles for the computation of weights. The areas and centroid of these shapes can be easily determined. Thus, the weight components W1, W2, W3, etc. can be found along with their lines of actions. The total weight W of the dam acts at the center of gravity of its section. So in order to find out the total weight of the dam, the cross section of the dam is divided into simple geometrical shapes, which may be rectangles or triangles. As you can see in the figure, this is the figure of gravity dam, cross section of a gravity dam. It is divided into triangles and one rectangle. So these can be easily, the area of these sections can be easily find out, and by multiplying these areas with the unit weight of the material, we can easily get the weight of the dam per unit length. And at the end, when we add all these components such as W1, W2, W3, we will get the total weight of the dam. So through this way, we can easily find the total weight of the dam. And this is the end of our today's lecture.